And my mom, of course, is Adventist. So and she knows what God demands of marriage. And although she did not choose right for herself by marrying a man who's not Adventist, I knew she has always wanted me to follow the Lord and marry a person in the same faith as me. In fact, I always wanted that for myself, and therefore I never imagined that I will find myself in the situation I found myself. So if you are a person like me and you are thinking that will never happen to me, well, it can happen to anybody as long as we don't remain vigilant, as long as we don't remain obedient, as long as we don't remain trusting and faithful to God, no matter what. No, because I know sometimes we want what we want when we want, but we must always remember as Christians that God knows best. He knows why He didn't bring a good Adventist man for me, or to me rather, in the 5 to 6 years of waiting. Only God knows. And as a mere mortal, I can't question that. So what is expected of me in that moment was that I'll continue to trust. So, okay, but I didn't. So, yeah, and I thought, my mom will not be very accepting. But I knew that since I've decided to take this step and marry this guy, I have to go all the way. So here I am from holiday, engaged in the ring. I have to sit my parents down and tell them I'm engaged with this so-and-so guy who's not only my nationality, but he's not Adventist. I think it was a bit of a struggle for my mom, but my dad immediately said, of course, but I'm not Adventist myself, so why should this be a problem, And for my mom, I think it was a bit of a struggle. But my parents always brought me up in a way that, well, not just me, all of us, in a way where we were allowed to choose our own paths. So, because I've never had very interfering parents, want to dictate to their children how they want to live their lives, whatnot. So, in a way, they knew they just had to accept it because I told them I've agreed to marry this person. So they had to accept it, whether they liked it or not. I'm not saying that I'm not obedient to my parents, but that's how they raised us up. Like, they're not, like, when we got older, like, they're just not interfering. They will tell you once if they think you're wrong, but that's it. They'll not interfere with your decision and try to manipulate you into choosing their own path. So they were surprisingly welcoming. So after that, July, of course, we were planning, my fiance to come and meet the parents, and then I was going to meet his parents. But throughout this time or this period of preparation, I am struggling, I am struggling. I don't have peace. I don't have joy, because I know that even though my parents have accepted my decision, that does not change what God requires of me. And of course, now we are in a phase of our relationship where I've had to take a step back, when it comes to matters of spirituality, and just respect his thoughts. And I've decided to be with a non-Adventist man. He's not Adventist. I should not be imposing. But so we prepare. I'm excited. I'm happy, but I'm also sad and lacking peace. Eventually, my parents meet him. I mean, guys, if you were to meet him, he's a perfect gentleman, like, honestly. So, of course, my parents loved him. Now they're calling him son. Oh, they loved him, guys. They loved him. They appreciated him. They gave us that blessing to go to this gentleman's country to meet his own people. Hey, I get to his people. Yo, guys, like good family. So I can see why this guy was such a perfect gentleman. He has such a good upbringing, and his family just loves me. Guys, both families just loved us and just blessed us and wished us well. So now I'm without excuse. But despite that, guys, that was in December when we met our families. Come January, after we come from meeting our families, he's gone back to where he's staying. And I'm back home. I am struggling. I don't have peace. I don't have joy. God's requirements were weighing so heavily on me in that particular moment. So, and then COVID hits. I think it was around February. We have lockdown. Yay, the struggle intensified. I think early on during lockdown, I decided I cannot continue with this relationship because I can't live with myself anymore. It's too much. I want to be happy. I wanted to be like those Adventists who can be with non-Adventist men and not even feel bad about it, or those Christians who can be with anyone of not their faith, and not feel bad about it. I desperately wanted to, but it was not happening. I was miserable. I was unhappy, and I called it quits. And I thought, guys, I'll be hooray. I was so miserable. There was no joy of the Lord in my heart. I was so miserable, and no matter how much I'll cry, I'll pray, I will not be comforted. I will not. It was a struggle to a point where I think I was falling into a depression. So I had to touch base with my counselor. He tried to encourage me. He's a Christian counselor of the same faith. He tried to encourage me, and guys, but I could not be comforted. So after all those sessions of therapy, and as I was going that, he starts making contact again. After those sessions of therapy, despite all the advice, despite what I know God requires me, I decided to go back into that relationship. But yay, this time something has changed, That honeymoon phase we had was gone. I thought if I'm go back to this relationship, I'm going to be more happy now. I'm going to be joyful. We're just going to be happy. And how definitely we are moving forward with our marriage. But guys, God make sure this time that I don't enjoy. While this guy was pursuing, he wants us to get back together. When I eventually agree, he had changed. Like my Prince Charming, guys, was gone. He was gone. And that was in 2021. He was gone. Towards the end of 2021. Okay, but still, and I will question him, but why have you changed? And his answer will be the same. It's because of you. You've hurt me so much that is what has changed me. And then I'll always question him. Then why did you want to get back if you feel this way? But there was a lot of guilt as well, beyond the guilt of not obeying God. There was guilt of the hurt and the harm I've caused them. So I couldn't then just say, okay, because you've changed, bye. Guys, I didn't know I can bekezela, but yay, I bekezela. I'm like, hey, since I've caused this mess, Lord, I just had to pay the cross. Hey, it was not nice. We didn't travel together end of 2021. Yo, guys, we were fighting the whole time. It was not nice. It was not good. It was not good. Yeah, come 2022. Was it that 2021? Am I mixing up the dates? No, that was in 2020. I'm lying, not 2021. Because I said we broke up at the beginning of COVID, which was 2020. And then we got back together around August or later that year, in 2020. So we met again in 2020. There was still COVID, but we managed to travel. Hey, I'm bearing the cross, guys. Come 2021. Yay, things did not improve because I thought to myself, if I just endure, man, if I just endure, this guy's heart will soften, he'll be that perfect gentleman I met in 2018, 2019. I thought he'll be that man. Yo, guys, his heart was very hardened towards me in a way, but I kept trying. And you'll always say, you're not trying hard enough, you're not trying hard enough. I'm like, this is the best I can do, dude. I kept trying the whole of 2021 until I came December, or towards December 2021. I'm like, I can't continue living like this. Now I'm in this relationship. I am miserable. I'm not happy in this relationship. Not only am I making myself unhappy in this relationship, I'm also making God unhappy in this relationship. So like that incentive, it's okay, but I can disobey God, but at least I can have, even if it's momentary happiness, at least I had that happiness. That incentive was completely taken away. So it just did not make sense for me to continue with this relationship. So at the end of 2021, I decided that I don't want to live like that in 2022. I just didn't want to live like that anymore. So I called it quits at the end of 2021. But while in previous relationship, I would always struggle, like, the pain after the breakup would be so unbearable. This time I was fine, because I think for some time, because of how the relationship was going, I was slowly but surely leaving the relationship. So it was not as bad as other times, so that's how I managed to get out of a relationship with a man who did not share the same faith as me. So as I wrap up this video, why am I sharing this? I'm sharing this because I've since realized that there are a lot of people who are struggling in this area of life. And it's not only young people, it's old people as well, with the divorce rate very high, even spouses dying, even, old people are having to grapple with this. Recently, I met a friend, everyone has that friend, man, who is more spiritual than yourself, that you think, this one will never struggle in this area. And I realized that she too was struggling in this area. And she was in the valley of decision in this area. Do I choose to obey God? Or do I choose to obey self? So if you are out there, the Bible says in Proverbs that we must not be wise in our own eyes. And I knew that I had to share this this testimony at some point, but I kept waiting for the right moment, and for me, the right moment will be, when God has blessed me with a husband, so that when I share this testimony, the saints are, are strengthened and they're encouraged, they are not discouraged. Because here I am, guys, I'm still not married. I'm still actually as single as they come. So, but that should not discourage you, really. That should not discourage you. Because obedience is better than sacrifice. Because Nami, when I left the relationship December in 2021, I just assume, since I've chosen now to obey, God will bless in that area. Yeah, but He hasn't. At least not in that area, but He has blessed me so much in other areas of my life. I mean, when I started the year 2022, there were a lot of things in my life that were just not moving. And whenever I used to tell colleagues this at work, and I even use this word or this phrase in my language, kubhajwa. Like, when your car hits like a pothole and you are stuck, and that's how I felt my life was, People's lives are moving, man, whether it's in your career, but there is some progress. But at that point, nothing was moving in my life, And as I started this path, God started blessing, maybe not in the area of relationships, but He's blessed in other areas of my life, And I remember telling my friend, it was around August and stuff, or thereabout, and I was not even thinking of a man, actually. At some point, I just stopped thinking of a man, desiring to be with a man, and God just filled me with so much joy, and I was so content. Sometimes I used to wonder, I even relocated to a different place, but I was so content, I was so happy, I was on cloud 9. I was not feeling, loneliness stuff. My girlfriends would be telling me how lonely they are. Guys, God gave me such peace and such contentment. Of course, that was in 2022. I'm not saying you always feel at peace and content by being single. I mean, there are days of struggle where you may want to be with someone, but the point I'm making is that God blessed. Maybe not in the way that I would have liked Him to bless, but there is a blessing in obeying God. And in the next video I will share, I want to talk more about the dangers of unequal yoking, because we take it to be a very light thing, but it's not a light thing. It's something that involves our salvation, and the Bible has told us to work out our own salvation, not casually, but with fear and trembling. So this area of unequal yoking is a matter that has to do with our salvation, so we need to take it seriously. I'll go through some of the dangers of being disobedient to God in this area of our lives. I hope my testimony has blessed you and has inspired you and encouraged you to do the right thing. And if you are the person that I'm talking to that is in the valley of decision, I want to encourage you, my brother. I want to encourage you, my sister. I want to encourage you, my father, my mother. When we are in any doubt, let us choose God. What does the Lord have to say about this thing? It's not about how we feel. It's not about what the world has to say, but what does God have to say? And you have to search His word, you have to pray, and God will surely show you what He requires of you in this area. But whatever you choose God as you stand in that valley of decision. May God bless you as you choose to follow Him, as you choose to obey Him in this area of your life. Be blessed.